and welcome back to the Reapers. So, this is going to be a tough one to explain. We did day 4 yesterday. Well, Blood doesn't think we did very well. I thought we did quite well, personally, but then maybe I'm wrong. And so, whatever happened, we're not going on to day 5 yet. What we're going to do is redo day 4 as a, how do you explain it, a simulation.
So after yesterday, which definitely didn't go well, we lost something like 10 airframes and destroyed 2 ground vehicles.
Did well.
And lost 2 frigates, which to me sounds like a loss. We have decided to... We had the debrief yesterday. We came up with what we believe to be the reasons as to why we failed. And so we've found this very expensive and very excellent simulation, and we're going to simulate the mission that we did yesterday. So this won't affect the campaign, but it'll allow us to rerun it with our new and improved techniques.
Can yesterday be the simulation and today be for real?
No, you crashed. Stop it.
I didn't crash, actually. I landed that plane.
Okay.
I wish it was so, but...
Next.
But yes, for now we're going to carry on as if it were the real mission. So the mission date is the 4th of September 1994. We're on the 4th day of the campaign, and the time is 0900 local. At this point, Coffee would normally come in with his update, but unfortunately he's away today. But North American forces have landed on a beachhead to the west of Gadata in an attempt to capture Gadata airfield, and we will be assisting with that. The SAM site to the northwest, the SA3 and 6 site, has been destroyed and overrun by ground forces, so that is no longer an issue. So the weather, again, we don't have the exact details, but it is fairly clement, light winds and clear skies, so excellent flying weather. The airfields we have access to today are Makop, which is active runway 04, circuit left hand, and a diversion is Krasnodar. We also have our carrier HMS Getsum, which is active runway not applicable, the circuit direction left hand, and the diversion is Sochi. And also we have access to Sochi, active runway 24, circuit left hand, diversion Novo. Be advised though that we have no aircraft at this airfield, and it's only available for rearming and refueling. So it may be advantageous, for example, the Vigans to land there after their attack and potentially rearm. I haven't entered in the support aircraft, but we do have a E2 Sentry AWACS available, which will be calling out any pop-up groups. Okay, on to the intelligence brief and the stop press. So, Sud-Sieska declared war on North America on day 2, and their forces are now mobilizing and no longer respecting the border with North America. North American forces have landed to the west of Gadata and have set up a forward operating base in the hope of capturing Gadata airfield. This is an additional thing we've added. So one of the things from yesterday was that the ground attackers were outrunning their own cap. So this is a bit of an experimental addition in that ground attack flights are now subordinate to their cap. So in order for them to proceed to the combat zone, they need to have permission from their cap flight. And if their cap flight gives them an order, such as to turn cold and go in a certain bearing in order to get away from a threat, they must follow that order. NOTAMs, we just have the friendly forces are moving towards Gadata, so any ground attackers need to be aware of that. On the target list today, we have 3 known targets. We have the SA3 and 6 site north of Sukumi. We have the SA10 site, which is north of Gadata. This is a high priority site and is covering most of the Sukumi-Gadata coastline. Take that out and we will possibly be able to attack at a much higher altitude and get above all of the SAM threats that are on the airfield itself. We then also have the actual airfield, which is our main target today, which we'll be hopefully capturing with ground units. If we look at the threat picture, we have the SA-10 site as mentioned above and the SA-3 site. Plus we have in threats that we have no exact locations for but are within the area, within enemy territory, are SA-19s, MANPADs, SA-15s and SA-10s. We also have air threats of MiG-21s, L-29s and Su-25Ts. Also bear in mind the locations of the friendly fleet and also the friendly ground forces that have landed to the west of Gadata. So, initial taskings, we presently have none, we'll talk about that in a moment. So, are there any questions at this point? So, we've now gone through the scenario brief, you know what we need to do, now we're going to go through the actual planning phase. So one of the things that we learnt is the fact that SA-10 and S300 sites are pretty much static. They can move, but they rely on a lot of fixed infrastructure. So it's in the same place that we reconned a few days ago.
The other thing we learned is just you won't like it, but the other thing we learned is you can't go in there with Vigans and bomb it because no one made it through that flak.
You can,
You can.
actually, if my weapons.
You died.
had
Ignore it. You died.
He flew past twice.
I flew over it twice and would have killed it. It was, I flew over it.
Cap.
You have to fly over it low. That's how it works.
Yeah,
Other
Cap,
people
I can
did
assure
fly
you
low
there
enough
is
and they got shot down.
Cap, I can assure you there is a technique. We'll talk about it in our flight planning.
Also, I don't think the bombs are
Harriers
working.
can do it.
No one's released any bombs successfully.
The
in
bombs
last
do
3
work.
Yeah, the Harriers don't have a red light that stops you dropping.
Since I fell asleep yesterday, may I ask what happened with our Tomahawk strikes? If any.
We didn't actually do any Tomahawk strikes yesterday.
Because nobody decided to take command of the fleet.
It's not that.
Indeed.
I tried using the Tomahawk guys, but all you can do is point at a point on the map, and we've got no points on the map to target. We can't see the enemy units.
We have the lat long of the S300.
Doesn't matter. It's right in the middle. So all you do is just hit some area or some empty ground in the middle of the site. We've got to
Yeah,
get.
so in that case, I would suggest putting one smack bang in the middle, one 10 to 15 meters north, one 10 to 15 meters south, one 10 to 15 meters east and west.
That would
I mean,
work.
it's
So
five
basically
Tomahawks, but,
So that would basically be a very extensive artillery strike.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can do that, Blasty, if you like. It might knock out the 300 for us, which would be nice.
So what I might suggest is, since this is a simulation and we're obviously trying to practice attacking SAM sites, is we do the cruise missile strike on the SA-3 and 6 site, and we attack the S300 site with the Vigans.
Roger.
Because the 300 site is a lot denser, it's a lot easier for the Vigans to strike, and it's closer to the border.
Did anybody get their bombs off? I'm actually not
No.
concerned. Do
I
they
have done
work?
some testing today, and I assure you it can be done.
Is it in
It's still not
multiplayer?
easy.
Is it in
So they
multiplayer?
work.
Obviously, the main objective today is to get those ground forces to Gadata, which means that the Harrier's main job needs to be to clear out any hostile ground units in that area.
Now the problem with that is you can't do it with sidearms. We've tried it. They will not turn their radars on. So how are you going to do it?
Because you're going to be attacking units that don't have radars, so GPUs. But remember,
They can't go until the 300's down. If they go up high with GPUs,
Yes,
300.
that
will
is
take-
correct. So the Vigans are going in first, but once the S300's down, you now have free reign at high altitude, because all those SAM systems at that airbase are low altitude SAMs designed to stop Vigans bombing things. But if you go at 12, 15,000 feet and just try and stay on the friendly side of the border, you're not going to be hit.
Are we out of manpad range then?
Oh yeah, you'll be way out of man range.
The only issue with that is you're still going to get ripped if you go in for a GBU strike without toss bombing, because we don't have Mavericks in the Harrier right now.
You don't, but as you say, just do toss bombing.
So yeah, I'm saying that will require coordination from the Harriers.
Yep. But Harriers, you have the available weapons, so you're going to have to talk about your technique in the actual flight briefings. And then we just next have the F5 group, who needs to be providing cap.
I'm questioning whether it's going to be quicker to take off from Makeup lightly loaded and just burn the way down, land at Sochi, refuel there.
Can I chime in here and say that perhaps the Harriers will be better at providing cap, given their higher performance?
No. We need the Harriers ground attack. The F5s can't really do it.
Mm-hmm.
The F5 is a fighter, it'll be fine.
There's one thing we have missed, which is that none of this is possible unless we move our fleet east to give SAM coverage, because as it stands, we've got no SAM. Oh yes, we do, because we've got their ships back, haven't we? Scratch that. We've got the ships back.
We do, but just remember from last time, those are big rocket strikes. So I think the first thing, Blasty, you need to do. Yeah, they're rocket.
Yeah,
Keep
but
them out of range.
Just move it.
It wasn't the rocket strikes that did the damage.
Correct. It was the
Actually,
KH-25s.
All of those artillery strikes did like 4% on one of those frigates.
So the missiles got through.
Yeah, the KH-25s got through.
So the F5s, a big part of your task is to take down those incoming frogfoots.
Yep.
You're assuming that Red are going to do the same thing they did yesterday.
No, but we're assuming that we are definitely going to have to keep an eye out for exactly the same thing that they did yesterday.
Let's not make the same mistakes.
I would recommend, Buick, that you go as wingman pairs, because you'll be able to cover more area and be more effective.
Agreed. I'd have one at least. Well, I'd have two over the Harriers and two slightly south of the Harriers, ready to respond to anything on the ships.
You said the first thing I need to do is to engage the SU-25s with the frigates?
No. So you need to. The frigates are a bit close to the shore at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It may be worth moving them back a bit by a few miles. It's not really going to help, is it?
For the benefit of last year, when we did it yesterday, what that happened is there's an artillery site on the edge of the coast, which artillery struck the frigates, and then SU-25s came in and KH'd them and killed them. But you're not going to be able to move them out of the range of the artillery. That artillery's got a 25-mile range. So
then, where's the ground units? Because I can definitely just take one tank or a Bradley up and
they're not far away. They're 2 miles away from where the artillery is, because no one used them yesterday. The artillery just sat there and shot at the frigates.
Okay, well, good enough.
You're literally, where the ground units are, if you trundle them towards Gadata, you're going straight past them.
All right.
I have a question, Blood.
Go ahead.
Are we able to operate ground vehicles?
That's what Blast is.
That's Blast's job. Okay, but I think we have a pretty solid plan now.
Roger.
So, to rebrief on the plan. So the flights that we have are the Vigan flight, which is Hammer. We have the F5 flight, which is Buick, and the Harrier flight, which is Sabre. The tasks for today are Hammer is going to take down the SA-10 site. They will be going in first. Then we have Sabre, who will be doing supporting the ground units with air support. That are the ground units near Gadata, but crucially they must wait until that S-300 has been destroyed. Protecting them against the air-to-air threats are the Buick flight, the F-5s, and Buick flight will be essentially commanding the Harriers. So the Harriers need to request permission in order to enter the combat zone, or if Buick gives an order to Sabre, they must comply with it. Okay, so that's all the tasks. Another thing I'd like to note is yesterday we didn't have a lot of coordination, so we weren't telling people what was happening. And if we have more of that communication, we have more telling people, right, say, for example, Sabre flight, can we now enter or Buick flight, can we enter the zone? And telling people where you are, because we had a lot of problems with people outrunning CAP and people running into SAM sites and all sorts of stupid stuff. Talk to each other, communicate. Excellent. I think we're all good. Break down into your flights, go into your relevant Discord channels, and we'll see you in the mission. If we're going to hope to survive this, there is a bit of a technique that we have to do in order to not die. So we'll obviously be proceeding to the target, fairly easy stuff, but we are going to be coming out through the mountains, and I will tell you when we are getting near. But there's basically a right-hand turn, and that means that we follow along the ridgeline towards the S-300 site. Now, there is a Tunguska on that hill.
God.
And we need to stick as far as you can to the hill in order to stay as long as possible outside its view. Then, once you see the target, you want to turn hard onto it, so you do a little bit of a weave. That will get you through the AAA fire. You need to be really low for this. We're talking like 20-30 feet. Drop your bombs.
Yeah.
And then on the way out, you need to be on full power. And there's a bit of a technique to this. So you need to roll, and you need to be pretty much on your side. You need to pull just about 2G. It's not a huge amount, but you need to you'll hear like the airframe sort of creaking a bit. Just pull, then you roll out level. You pause a bit, and then you rinse and repeat in the opposite direction. So it'll be roll, pull, level. Roll, pull, level. Keep going through that in your head. Keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that. And after about 20 kilometers, you can stop, because that means you'll be out the zone. What this does is the missiles that are coming from behind you will try and lead your aircraft. Once they do that, when you turn the other way, they'll lose track.
Okay.
And that will prevent you from being horribly murdered on the egress.
On the ingress, really quick, I came right. Oh, you know how the SA-300 is basically at the base of the mountain, right?
Yeah.
Are we coming right over that mountain? Because I was able to fly and do that. I was able to fly over the site multiple times because.
I have no idea how you manage that because there's at least 3 SAM sites staring right at you.
Well,
so we are coming round. I just can't. Just trying to think where the map is.
Basically,
we are indeed coming round the mountain.
Basically, we're dropping north to south, and we will approach from east to west. Drop our bombs. Fuck off west as fast as we can.
Oh, and our landing base is Sochi, so we will be just heading straight there.
Basically, you come out of the valley, do a 90-degree right-hand turn, and as soon as you come over a very small hill, the targets are right in front of you. So
yeah, got it. I remember the map.
Yeah, and when you do that turn, it needs to be on full power to maintain your speed. Because speed is life. If you bleed off any speeds that turn, you won't regain it in time.
When you're coming down through that valley, you need to be in stage 3 burner and just keep in stage 3 burner until you're either dead or you escape.
Right. How's our separation? Like, how far apart from each other will we be doing that?
I'm thinking maybe like 20 seconds. Because we're going to be dropping the bombs so low, they should explode by the time that the next guy comes in.
So we'll essentially be in trail loosely.
Yeah, it'll be trail formation. Can everybody go to the target images page and look at target 1? That's what we're hitting. 2 people on the launchers and the radar weapon storage. That is in a big long line, so we'll be able to hit that in one run. And the other 2 need to be on the control and logistics. And crucially, can you see the radar on the right-hand side, the tall radar? That is the track radar. If that's destroyed, the thing's basically inoperative.
To be honest, I think that there's no point in trying to do that. You're better off just running straight down the middle of the 2 ranks because you're using high drag bombs and they've got a massive lateral dispersion. There's no point. If you try and run directly over the top of it, it's just not going to work. You might as well just aim straight down the middle and let the bombs do their thing.
I don't think you'll get a chance either to aim.
They won't hit the other radar. They don't have that great a dispersion. It's maybe like 5 meter dispersion.
You can
the altitude for dropping them at.
Lad, remember that conversation we had about what you do and then what you're expecting the 4 other guys?
You're right. In which case, everybody go for the 2 rows of launchers and the radar weapons. It should be just straight in a long line. I'm going to go for the control and logistics.
Yep.
Okay.
Bomb spacings will be 15 meters. That's enough so it will stretch just all the way along between the launchers and the radar.
And
another bit of advice. The bombs will go longer than you think, so aim just a tiny bit short. So make sure that there's like maybe 5 meters between the first row of launchers and the little dot that shows you where the first bomb will land.
So release a tiny bit before where it says it will be.
Very tiny. The target should be between the circle and the dot, but make sure that the dot is a bit further back.
That's due to HUD lag. Bear in mind the HUD is not like perfectly symmetric.
Right. I did
computation time for it.
I did a couple practice runs and I think I kind of noticed it a bit, so I understand.
Where does the circle want to be? Oh, it's the circle I always see.
You want the dot you want in front of the first target, and the circle is where the last bomb lands. So what happens is you look at the dot at the bottom, put that where you want the first bomb to land, so the start of the column, and then the circle shows you where the last bomb will land with your current spacing and speed.
Super.
So put them all between them.
Yeah, basically have all the targets between the dot and the circle, but the dot is the one you want to pay attention to because that's where the first bomb will land.
Oops. Da 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 da.
Ground to Overlord, radio check 243. Trash 5.5. Everybody remember, set your dispersion to 15 meters for the bombs. Oh, it's already set on 15. run over the target, you can also set your Slav SI to F for the low altitude mode. Roger. Is what working, P-Man?
Your kneeboard. Mine seems to be bugged, it just won't work.
Stand by. Oh wow, yeah, that does sound... Mine's not doing that.
Yeah, well, I've just put all the waypoints in, so I'm not going to reconnect just to fix that.
Yeah, totally. It's 9007.
Okay guys, I've put my cartridge in and loaded it. I've set my QFE to 996. I've set my MAL to Sochi. Is it just the waypoints now?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to the realities of the vegan.
Tend to kill himself. GG Tender, GG.
Oh, I've done it. Right, I've set my stuff up. I'm going to rearm now.
Awesome.
This is the realities of the vegan. 45 minutes setting all the buttons and 2 minutes flying.
Right, everyone report when ready to taxi.
Two's ready.
3.
4. 5. Our flight is taxiing for runway 04. Hang on, where are these F5s going?
They look like they're going long.
Alright, then we'll go short. Hopefully the SAMs of the carrier will be able to deal with it, but...
Well, I haven't seen the Reds take off yet.
Could those missiles... let's have a look. Because the missiles might not be coming out for aircraft.
They're not. They did it yesterday. I watched on TAC View. I don't know what they're going for.
Buick has got elements airborne proceeding south now. Buick flight, we believe that those missiles coming for the carrier are not for enemy aircraft. The Reds are still on the ground. Another copy.
That guy went up without any fucking tanks. He won't even get there. Retards.
Buick, one of your aircraft just took off without any tanks. Are they able to get to Sochi?
They're scrambling, we're under attack.
We're not under attack. The Reds are still on the ground.
Well, our fleet just launched surface-to-air missiles.
Yeah, we're taking off yet.
Were they TLAMs rather than surface-to-air missiles? Or cruise missiles?
Did anyone check with ground commander that those weren't Tomahawks?
Meg, checking now.
Our flight is lying off departure runway 04 at Takeoff.
Overlord ground, are we commencing the attack?
P-Man, I'm going to go on your right echelon once we've taken off.
Last is recommend you send some recon vehicles up front in order to identify enemy positions. When the Harriers are able to engage, then they can assist you.
Rio looking for confirmation that we can ban due south and not worry about terrain masking. We should be clear, Sams.
If all these sounds on the border destroyed, it's just the S300, but there'll be mountains between you and it.
Solid copy.
4 and 5, give us a bit of room when we take off, please.
Everyone report when set.
2.
3.
Well, unit speed 5. Out is currently down and right
Ready, go.
Currently getting Bravo. Anyway. We advise that Bravo was in the vicinity of Samaki, copy. Looks like hostiles are burst in the air.
And right roll now.
P-man off your rear right echelon.
Stage 1 now. Right, so while we're transiting, I want to emphasize the importance of doing that roll, pull, level technique. You want to be saying constantly in your head, roll, pull, level. Roll, pull, level. You do that left, then right, then left, then right, and make sure there is always that pause between so that you travel in a direction for just a little bit. It's probably about maybe half a second to a second, and then you turn back in the other direction. That will keep you alive.
Like a serpentine, kind of.
So but if you just keep going left, right, really quickly, then you don't spend long enough in one direction for the missile to update its track.
So stay straight for a while. Gotcha.
I say, when I say a while, it is just literally a half a second to a second.
Yeah, like exactly how you said, like a rhythm.
I did a video about this and I determined 22.5 degrees in each direction, but maybe different for Riggin.
Yeah, it's a bit less. You want to be maybe weaving maybe 10 to 15 degrees either side. Just going to pitch up ever so slightly. And stopping there.
Timing is, if you have chest flare, chink. Chest flare, chink. That gets you into that.
Fortunately, we didn't have the luxury of cap and flare.
No, we don't, but the timing is still the same.
with this volume of aircraft in the area, we should, the second and third ones in should be a bit easier.
So who's most likely to get shot, I wonder?
It'd be me.
Blood always gets killed first. It's crazy. That MiG came out of nowhere last time.
Oh, it was so unlucky from the tac view.
Yeah, I bet.
It was literally that MiG was chasing Riddle, and Riddle turned one direction, and when the MiG turned around to see what was going on, he locked onto me instead of Riddle.
Yeah, he thought you were the F5. Lols.
Well, UX be advised, we're currently landing and making our refuel stop at section now.
That was quick.
Yeah, I think there's about full burners down there.
If Barco is approximately 100 to 120 nautical miles away. Just pull up just a little bit.
This is Tower Flight, we're just about to reach our first waypoint and then we'll be ingressing into the mountains. I'll keep you posted on our progress.
Yeah, copy. Over, copy.
You're not in the middle again, are you, Signore?
No, that's trash. Next to you on the left, I'm on the right.
Roger.
Trash, I'm at one left.
tries to trim the aircraft but can't because you're not moving, so it puts it to either maximum forward or maximum nose up trim.
Oh jeez. And then you got to take off errors.
Okay, I tried to take off and it stuck the nose into the ground.
Oh god.
Yeah, because even if you put your full stick back deflection, there's not enough movement in it.
See, Cap, it looks like you're kind of trailing them, so come right more, and it would.
Yeah, I've got this yawing to the left for some reason. It does this. Always does this. It pisses me off.
Just do a little right trim, right aileron.
You might want to put some dead zone on your joystick or on your rudder axis, because it might just have a bit of a left bias on it.
It's true.
Right, we've got 25 kilometers for the next waypoint. When we get there, we're going to go trail and head into the valleys. The trail doesn't need to be the full 20-second spacings just yet. We'll open up when we get closer to the target. And leads turning right into the valley.
We should just now be hitting around 100 on the fuel.
Yeah, mine's just over 100.
Roger, let me know when you when we drop.
rail.
So as I remember, it's just changing it to ANF, then weapon release, and
No.
keep your finger on the trigger, isn't it?
Your unsafe trigger, stay in nav, you'll get the symbology, which is the dot on the circle, put the target between the dot and the circle.
So you don't need ANF, yeah?
Nope.
Confirm.
But Cap, you may want to put your HUD to the lower position because the dot and the circle will be in the bottom quadrant of it when you fly over. You know what, I also leave mine in that all the time. Me too. And then also you can do Slav SI to F, right? Blood for low altitude mode. Hey, Sam. Okay, so you can do that too. That's under, or to the right.
Roger,
Right underneath your collimator.
That's my default setting anyway.
Sweet. Well, Cap, even if we all die horribly, you'll get some lovely footage for the valleys.
Correct.
Silver, ground, do you want to hold off the assault? Saber to Glasby, recommend you reconnaissance. Okay, we're going to be taking it right into this next valley and then we'll be climbing over the Costco for that. Watch out for assault until CAS aircraft are airborne. They're trying to talk to you. Ground acknowledged. We're talking to Saber on the we're turning right. Glasby, this is Hammer. Were you trying to contact me then? Clearly not. Yes. That's your message. Are we kicking off the assault? Say again. Are we attacking? Should I start the assault? It's up to you whether you wish to proceed. Clear comms. It's up to you whether clear comms. It's up to you if you wish to proceed with the attack without the support of the Harriers, then you can. But I recommend you send recon up ahead to identify ground targets, and then the Harriers can move in and destroy those once the S-300's down.
SU-25's heading in towards Gudada. They're being shot at by the fleet, but some of them are getting through.
Ground acknowledged. And rolling over the top. Just made it about half Dakota burner. Okay, I want spacings to be increased to 20 to 30 seconds. Go a bit further apart if you're in doubt. And follow your nav points. And what I said, speed is life and do the weave. Please again, stage one. All aircraft, this is Hammer Flight. We are one waypoint out from our targets. We'll report our progress once we have destroyed it, hopefully. 2, stage 1.
3, stage 1.
Well, yes, be advised, Buick is taking position. Being activating ship, I think the main fleet are ready for launches. Cannot, however, proceed to shoot down enemy 25s that may be attacking that landing fleet currently as it is well within the screen's range.
Later on.
Stage 2. I'm just... Do you still see them, Cap? Lead, turning corner, going stage 3 round. Lead is now in the danger zone. Lead, spike, front. 2, stage 3. Turning inbound.
3 inbound.
Alright, trash is behind you. Lead on the way. Target in sight. I think only you and Trash survived, that's it. Oh, the Nuance is still up and running. The other 3 got scratched. Trash said he was okay. I'm trying on him too. I'm egressing like crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna stop the game now. We destroyed the target, I'm not gonna bother respawning. Rock and work, guys. Holy shit, that was exciting though. Yeah, jeez, that was awesome. All aircraft, this is Hammer Flight, the S-300 site has been annihilated. Sausage traffic, Hammer lead, initial. Traffic. We have SA-10 spike, SA-10 launch. We didn't kill all of it? It just won't die. I mean, we bombed the shit out of that. Well, both towers, I thought, both the big towers. UX is being engaged by SA-10. Roger, being possible that there are still active launches, however we destroyed most of them. If you can wild weasel them, then that'll render it useless. I'm just coming straight in behind you because of damage. Roger. That was bad. Trash. Initials. Break. All the units be advised we have multiple jams south of the landing fleet, however we are being engaged by SA-10s. We cannot currently respond to them. Proceeding to weasel as many of these missiles out as we can. smoke plume coming out the back there. It's not an air show, you know. On a full run of the kid.
Reverser, come on.
Might be boss.
Yeah, it might be. I'm just gonna stop the
I'll use the brakes, they're pretty good.
Alright. Huh, it broke. Interesting. Didn't know that could happen.
It what? Oh, the thrust reverser.
Yeah, I couldn't get it to operate.
Yeah, I imagine you got something for it.
I did get hit by that missile.
Well, units, be advised, we believe we have wheedled the last of the SAM missiles from that thing. We are no longer getting spikes or launches. We are proceeding to send half of our units to rearm, refuel, and then receive the other half. Hammer copies. Lead, this is Hammer. We're going to be rearming with Mavericks in order to assist with attacking the ground forces. So we're going to put ourselves under your command. If you need orders out of the zone, just say the word. Solid copy. Then good copy. Be advised, or be advised all units on Sochi. I currently have 2 birds now. I'd like you to give them priority landing and take observe. This Weasel has rather turned out. Just be advised you're currently landing on the wrong runway, but we'll forgive you since you've been doing some epic wild weaving up there. This is Hammer. Can you confirm that all the aircraft intending to land at Sochi are down? I can confirm there should be 2 birds on the ground. 2 birds on the ground. Roger, you can see them both. Hammer flight is allowing for departure runway 24 at Sochi. We've just taken off from Sochi. Do you want us to hold by the fleet until you have the rest of your cap active? So that we wait one, I'm trying to stay on my... Roger. Flight to cover within the next 5 to 10 miles. Over. Roger, we'll just continue orbiting the fleet.
Good work, Blasty. Get out there, Blasty, for God's sake.
Saber flight, how's on ready? Saber, Buick, be advised you will have zero cover. Same rules apply. If you think you can get something quick done, get it done quick. If you take any form of hostile attack, get the hell out of there, make the defense medals at least. Roger. Saber, you take off.
Request permission to do a hit and run on Gaddafi Air Base. We've got the airspeed and we'll just run in, throw a couple of Mavericks off and then run out of there.
Permission to be advised, however, you will have no cover for the next potentially up to 10 mics, so if you are ever engaged with anything air-to-air, get the hell out of there fast.
Hey, that's why the Swedish invented stage reactor there.
Copy that, Hammer.
Blasty, this is Hammer.
Is there detected in the tower of a hostile...
Blasty, this is Hammer. We're currently passing over the landing carrier group. We cannot assist you with precision strikes, but we're going to attempt to destroy all the air defense in Gaddafi and help the Harriers out.
You can make fast attacks into the airfield, you can go ahead and do so. We have reason to suspect there will be hostile MiG-21s in the air, now their Su-25s attack has failed. Currently at 11,000 feet. You have secondary AIM-9s on your pylons. Side else. Roger, AIM-9 loaded on the pylon. Be advised, we have known MiG-21 contact in the vicinity of Delta. Suggest you continue to hold near circle.
The Blues just experienced the wrath of Ularosa.
Saber lead, Blasty, ready to spot target.
Traffic, trash, approaching initials. Trash, initials. Trash on the brake. The lead, all flights. We've got sand launches coming out of our friendly...
Yeah, Roger, we've got incoming missiles and they're trying to take them out.
Incoming aircraft 080, 26 miles ahead of us. I don't know.
Alright, I'm down safe at Sochi and I'm shutting down.
Cruiser destroyed. Friendly.
We need planning. 75 requesting tasking from ground forces.
There's only 4 blues left in the server. Everyone else has quit, but carry on with the Harriers if you like.
We've only just taken off. Not much I can do other than scouting for threat signatures. Alright, I have an idea. I'll carry a couple of spare GBU-12.
Very hard to find stuff in the teapot.
It's terrible. It's a piece of shit, that teapot.
You definitely need proper CAS talk on from ground troops, I think.
The teapot is currently bugged in DCS, both for the A-10 and the Harrier.
My bomb's still on target though, so yeah.
Good shot. Hello, welcome back. That was the simulation. Again, it wasn't great, but it was what it was. Should we go debrief group by group again?
Yep. So
Biggins, off you go.
So we had a lovely transit over there. We went through the valleys, attacked the target. We lost 1 aircraft to a SAM system, and 3 of them successfully. In fact, I think 4 hit the target. P-Man unfortunately bit the bullet by an SA-13 on the way out. 3 made it out, and Cap, you decided to go hit something completely different.
I got lost and found a village to bomb. But don't worry, because the village is full of AAA as well, so I got shot down still. But
yes.
Someone go there and plant an egg.
No, Warren, you're not in Hammer. You talk later. Yeah, so anything else from the Hammer? Apparently we didn't blow the S300 up.
No, we blew a lot of it up. I'm not sure why it was still active. We got, I think, 2 of the search radars. We got all of the
radar.
One. But
tracking
clearly
radar was in another location. Grinkle said. It was hidden secret location.
So we had to weasel out 3 missiles, which is nothing too extensive.
What do you have to do
it was a pretty good attack.
What do you have to do to disable an S300 then? Kill every
nuclear bomb.
I don't want to like give it away because I imagine as this doesn't count, it will all still be up. So I don't want to say anything. But let's just say it is a realistic SAM site emplacement, i.e., not everything that is required for the functionality of the SAM site is in the same geographical location.
Grinkle, really quick. Can you send me the TAC view file, please?
I don't have TAC view. I'm currently doing a cheeky.
Is that the end of Tinder? Okay, sorry, is that the end of Hammer?
Afterwards, me and Trash took off, but we got back. I got at least a bit too target fixated, and the MiG came along.
You got the wrath of Iteration. Not only did he come and hunt you, dodge through SAMs and hunt you down, he then decided to go for the fleet and attack the fleet and bomb the fleet, and didn't get shot down and flew home. It's like
because I thought. Yeah, no, I thought I was safe, but from the cover of the fleet, but it didn't seem to fire on him. So
Roger, it's a bit weird. All right, fair enough. That's that. So mixed results, I guess, but at least we did some bombing and some of us got through. Who's the next? Buick, what are they flying?
F5.
They didn't see any action, did you, I guess, because you didn't really have anything to fight against?
We saw a certain amount of action. So essentially what happened was, as we managed to get from Makeup to Sochi on a single bag of fuel, we burnt all the way down, landed at Sochi, and we're back in the air so we managed to reach the position that I asked us to reach, which was in between the invasion fleet and the normal fleet, just as you guys hit that S300. So just as you guys hit that S300, we then planned to make one quick flight towards Gaudata to make sure the airspace was clear before calling in everybody else. At which point we took fire from an S300 site and were required to weasel it, which unfortunately drained most of us of the last reserves of our fuel. So what we did was we attempted to keep myself and Elo on location, while the other 2 rearmed and refueled, because that way we can obviously cycle our way through and not leave the area. Unfortunately, as soon as those guys kind of took off, so we had those guys taking off, the plan was to get them over the landing peninsula before me and Elo RTB'd. Just as they reached the peninsula, we picked up 1 hostile on radar contact, and so we attempted to intercept. However, at that point, the dreaded lag struck and wiped us out completely.
Yeah, that caused a lot of damage.
We had a lot of lag today, man. A lot more than normal. Something's going on in London, obviously. All right, fair enough. Harriers had a miserable time, didn't they? What happened? What went wrong with the Harriers?
Yeah, we just sat on the carrier twiddling our thumbs.
Yeah, I saw that.
Then we took off, got to the target area, above 10,000 feet, but got shot down.
Yeah, you all got just blasted by, I saw it, you all got blasted by Tunguska's, just blasting you out the air. 10, 12,000 easily.
Yeah, it wouldn't get close.
No, and those targeting pods aren't very good on the Harriers either. I didn't believe you could spot anything.
What do you mean? You can sit there at like 30 miles away.
Yeah, the Harrier pod, the targeting
on a GPU?
Yeah,
not with a GPU, but you can see stuff. And then
you see it, but you can't shoot it or do anything to it.
Well, for future reference, what would have been a good idea then, just as amazing benefit of hindsight, is if you have 1 Harrier, as long as that 1 Harrier can maintain an 8.5 mile separation, which should, fingers crossed, be outside of Tunguska range.
Yeah, it will be.
The other Harriers can essentially make bomb lobbing runs. So you just have 1 Harrier orbiting the Tunguska with a laser active, and then all of the other Harriers can just fly in at 20,000 feet, max speed, nose up, 45 degrees, drop a bomb from 10 miles away, and that thing should coast all the way in.
So it's Harriers, lessons to learn, I guess. Well, I don't know, I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to say, but was there any other groups? That was it, wasn't it? That was it.
Well, the good news is I made it to the airfield.
Oh, just in time, Blasty.
So, I mean, I don't know how long it took you last time to take losses, but this time we didn't. I mean, yes, admittedly, the Harriers didn't even take off, but we didn't have losses until long after the SA-300 was down.
The thing is, as frustrating as it is, sometimes it's required of flights when things are being coordinated and directed that they sit down and just wait. And if that means that you're sitting down and waiting, that's unfortunate, but sometimes that's just what's needed, because sometimes, a lot of the time, what tends to happen with Blue 4 for some of these missions is that people think as soon as they're in an aeroplane, they need to be taking off and doing something. And some of the more successful missions we've had, not just tonight's replication of yesterday, but also ones going back months in other missions as well, have been when we've held flights back, waited for a precondition to happen, whether that's SEAD or a vegan strike or whatever, and then have strike packages roll through once the primary task has been done by CAP or SEAD work.
Amen.
Yeah, it's frustrating to be sat on the ground, but it's also frustrating to just be murdered in the first 5 minutes of taking off.
Fun though.